Addition is the process of finding the total of two numbers. Let's focus first on adding integers, like 3 plus 2. By the way, the numbers are called addends, and the total is called the sum. First, find the point on the number line corresponding to the first number. Then, at this point, we represent the addition of the number 2 with an arrow pointing to the right. The size of the number is represented by the length of the arrow. So an arrow for plus 1 would have the length of 1, and an arrow for plus 3 would have the length of 3. We have in our example an arrow of plus 2 with the length of 2. The sum is a number directly below the tip of the arrow, which is 5 in this case. In contrast to that, we can also add a negative number, like 3 plus negative 2. Once again, the first thing you do is find the point on the number line which represents the first number. At that point, however, we represent adding the negative number 2 with an arrow to the left. The number directly below the tip of the arrow is 1. So 3 plus negative 2 is 1. By the way, adding the opposite of a number, like in this example, is also called subtraction. Subtraction is a process of finding the difference between two numbers. Let's look at negative 3 plus 2. First, find the point on the number line which represents the number negative 3. And then at that point, draw an arrow with a length of 2 pointing to the right. The sum negative 1 is directly below the tip of the arrow. Let's look again at the sum, where the first number is negative, but we also add a negative number. Negative 3 plus negative 2. Once more, find the point on the number line which represents the number negative 3. And then at that point, draw an arrow with a length of 2 pointing to the left. Why is it pointing to the left? Because of the negative sign in front of the number 2. The sum, negative 5, is directly below the tip of the arrow. Instead of adding a negative number, you can also call it subtraction and write negative 3 minus 2. Let's summarize the following rules from the pattern for addition shown in our examples. In these two examples, we have two numbers with the same sign. For the first example, positive 3 plus 2, we don't need a rule, because adding two positive integers is something we intuitively do correctly. But for the second example, the following rule is helpful. Add the two negative numbers as if they were positive, and then attach the negative sign. Again, add the two negative numbers as if they were positive, and then attach the negative sign. What about the other two cases where we add two numbers with different signs? Subtract the smaller number from the larger one as if they were both positive, and then attach the sign from the larger number. Again, subtract the smaller number from the larger one as if they were both positive, and then attach the sign from the larger number. This means if the larger number is positive, the answer is positive. If the larger number is negative, the answer is negative. Let's do some more examples with these rules. 19 plus negative 23. The signs are different, so subtract the smaller number from the larger number as if they were both positive, and then attach a sign from the larger number. So 23 minus 19 is 4, and attach the sign from the larger number. Negative 17 plus negative 3. The signs are the same. Add the two numbers as if they were positive, and then attach the negative sign. 17 plus 3 is 20, and attach the negative sign. Negative 3 plus negative 2 plus negative 4 plus 7. To add more than two numbers, you should initially add the first two numbers. Then add the sum of those two, the third number. And continue like so until all the numbers have been added together. Let's do some examples with subtracting integers. 8 minus positive 3. Subtracting an integer is defined as the addition of an opposite integer. In other words, for subtraction we will change the problem to an addition problem, which we can then solve using the above methods. 8 plus negative 3. Now this looks identical to our previous addition examples. Different signs, subtract 3 from 8. Then attach the sign of the larger number. Another way is to just subtract 3 from 8 like you normally would. Let's look at this example. Negative 17 minus 12. Subtracting integers means to add the opposite of the second number. So we get negative 17 plus negative 12. Add the two numbers as if they were positive. and then attach the negative sign. Let's try an example where subtracting occurs several times in a problem. -5, -7, -15, -3, -12. Now here, rewrite each subtraction as an addition of the opposite, then add. -5 plus -7 plus 15 plus -3 plus 12. -12 plus 15 plus -3 plus 12. Three plus -3 plus 12. Different signs. Looking at the numbers as if they were positive, but you can see here that the number 3 and -3 are equal. There is no bigger number. This is a special case. You don't have to care about which one is larger or smaller and which sign you attach. If the numbers are equal, the solution is 0. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. This video is what I did for you. If you want to do something for me, hit the bell button, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching and happy learning, everyone.